Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Britannica Education's webinar. Thank you very much for joining. We're going to start in 1 or 2 minutes while waiting for the rest of the attendees to join us. Once again, thank you for attending, and please kindly wait until we have a lot more people joining us. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, we are
Sorry.
live already.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right.
Thank you for joining. All right. I guess we can get started. We have a lot more people just joined. Thank you once again for joining another webinar from Britannica Educations. And I would like to welcome everyone to the sessions. And today's session is basically the engagement trap: why students stay active but do not improve, and how to turn English learning into measurable progress. My name is Cristianto Kondohutomo, and I am the Senior Customer Success Manager from Britannica Education Asia. And my role is to support our existing customers to ensure that they get the most value out of our products. And as usual, I am accompanied by my co-host for the webinar, Mr. Christopher. And I'm going to let you to introduce yourself, please.
Thank you very much. I'm just noticing I've put my incorrect job title here. I am Christopher. I'm the head of curriculum and development for Britannica Education in Asia, and I am here to support our teachers and support our clients with product development using my years of experience working across public, private, and international education in Asia.
Excellent. And both of us will be your co-hosts for today's webinar. So and I just would like to mention as well, at any point in time, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can drop the questions in our chat box, and we will be able to answer those questions during the Q&A time later at the end of the session. So this is basically our agenda for today. We're gonna talk about a few things over here. So specifically on the the core questions and the reality that we have today in our classroom, especially in the English learning classrooms, the trap versus progress, and also the shift that is needed. And we're gonna do a little bit of a platform walkthrough just to give you a taste of the solutions that we are offering to you. And also after that, we're going to have the Q&A sessions as well after that. Now, um, for those of you who might be quite new to Britannica Education as a brand. So I would like to just maybe give a really, really quick intro of Britannica Education as a company. So Britannica itself has been around for more than 250 years, and we have been in the business of providing factual information to people. We have more than 200,000 verified media assets delivered in more than 80 different languages, reaching more than 150 million students globally. And then we have a pretty high client retention rate as well, which basically, says a lot about the quality of our products and also services. We deliver innovative solutions that enable educators and improve student outcomes. We are bringing together pedagogy, instructional design, world-class content, and technology to bring quality products for classroom, research, and also professional learning. Now, to kick off our webinar today, I would like to start with getting your feedback, doing a poll over here. So I will kick off the poll here. So let me choose the poll. Okay, I'm gonna launch the poll. You should be able to see it right now on your screen. Are students active, but are your students active but struggling to improve? Meanings like, do you have a lot? Have you been engaging your students in the classroom? However, you realize that you're struggling to improve their level of English, for example. So if you can maybe please help to um, mention answer the poll with what you are experiencing today, that would be perfect. Okay, I can see some responses coming in already. Very interesting pattern that we are seeing, that I'm seeing here right now. I'll be sharing the result very soon. I'm gonna wait. Maybe we will have more people. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna close the poll and I'll share the results with all of you. So I guess, Christopher, you're also able to see the result as well on your screen, right?
I am, yes. And yeah,
Yeah,
this
so
is
any thoughts on
interesting.
this?
Yeah, well, it's actually a lot more agreement than I was expecting. I thought there'd be a bit more of a broad spectrum of people encountering the issue, people not encountering the issue, but it seems that students are working hard, students are trying their best, but there is an engagement gap. And the fact that they're struggling to improve doesn't reflect necessarily on teachers or students themselves. There's a whole dynamic ecosystem of reasons why this could be the case. And personally, I'm quite pleased by this result because it largely segues me into everything I was planning to say next. So at least I don't need to rewrite that now. So yeah, let's dive into what's going on here behind the scenes.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the result of the poll, and the floor is all yours, Christopher.
Thank you very much. So the key question when we were looking at this and the engagement trap, and as teachers, we all know engagement is vital. But what is the difference between engagement and mastery? Because they're not the same thing. And in some elements, they are completely removed from each other. So are students learning or are they just being busy? So when we mean learning, let's start on the positive side, it's purposeful. There's a drive, there's an outcome, there's a reason why they're doing it, and there's an end goal in sight. They're building skills, they're developing themselves, developing their knowledge, but not just absorbing information blindly. They're building upon it and developing a stack and a building block that will serve them later in life. And this also allows for deep understanding and deep learning, whether this through project learning or inquiry-based learning. It's not just about surface level remembering of fact, it's about deep understanding and ability to deploy skills and facts. And the key to this all is measurable progress. And as teachers, especially language teachers, sometimes measurable progress can be difficult to quantify. Even with formative and summative assessment styles and rigorous methodologies behind teaching and tracking and reporting, actual measurable progress can be tricky. And so, what this starts to be and starts to sometimes look like is students are just staying busy. They're completing the work, they're doing the assignments, maybe they're passing the tests, but are they developing the deep skills and understanding they need? So when they're staying busy, it just tends to be aimless. They're doing the work and they don't really understand why. They're spending the time, but it's of little productive value. Shallow activities that don't construct and don't formulate a student's mind in the way it needs to be. And then there's no measurable impact. Even with formative and summative assessments, language teachers, ESL teachers are struggling to really pin down what is progress and what is true impact. So the reality of this situation through our partners and studies we read and we've conducted is that high activity levels can still lead to low measurable outcomes. There's not necessarily a quantitative relationship between these two. Now, we all know if you're studying something like science, the discussion is very different because E does equal MC squared, and that's a fact. That's not going to be changing anytime soon with any luck. But in much more subjective areas like the language arts, like ESL, yeah, students can be doing the work, doing the writing, doing this, that, and the next task, but the outcomes still aren't chasing. They're not following. So how do we start to examine this further? So we quantify the engagement trap by 3 yes statements and 3 no statements. So when you're in this trap, your students are active, they're motivated, and they're consistently achieving both of these elements. They're working hard. They're not bad students. There's nothing wrong with the classroom methodology. There's nothing wrong with the environment or the students or the teachers, but there's something amiss. They're engaged, but they're not progressing systematically. And this we'll look into further about systematic progression is not as simple as climbing as a ladder. It's more complicated and nuanced. They're not applying language in context. So maybe they're learning the grammar, they're learning the vocabulary, but converting that into real world, constructive, and fluent dialogue and conversation is the missing step. And they're not building academic English. As we all know in the Asian markets, academic English is the center of everything pre-university. So you need to be learning the language in context, but you need the Academic English Support Act to ensure that your skills are holistic and valuable in an increasingly competitive university and working market. And so here's my personal and professional opinion of the difference between engagement and progress. Because engagement doesn't necessarily lead to mastery. I can tell you, I engaged with mathematics courses for a lot of my time in high school, and I never mastered it. Even to this day, please don't ask me for mathematics. I am not going to be helpful. So we look at engagement, and the left column says repetition. Okay, we all know repetition is vital to learning, but does repetition in language turn into effective application, use, and deployment? It's a question. Gamified tasks, a lot of tools coming to the market today, they're very committed to looking like games, looking flashy. It's the most up-to-date and most advanced interface. It sings, it dances, it colors, it's lights. But does that translate into structured learning? Another interesting point of question. Isolated vocabulary. Now, if you ask me my opinion, isolated vocabulary is the enemy. You can teach a student 100 words, but that doesn't teach them how to string it into a sentence, and it doesn't teach them how it is useful in their own context. So contextual language, whether it be at home, in the classroom, shopping, eating, or further study, contextual language is the real mark of progress. And activity tracking. As we all know as teachers, we can track activity finished, tick, next, thank you. We all know that. We can mark the tests, we can score the tests, but is there a single thread woven through all of this that turns it into measurable outcomes and actual granular data that teachers can A, rely on, and B, take action upon? So you can see the progress column here. They might sound similar to the content of the left column, but on the ground in everyday classrooms, they are very, very different things. So the journey needed from the missing links and the shifts that are needed. So the missing links, in my thoughts, are there's no clear learning pathway in the CEFR system. It has the I can statements. It tells you what you should be able to do, but often in classrooms, there's a struggle to convert this into real learning journey and practical English. Students can complete the workbooks, they can do the assignments and the lessons, but do they understand it? Can they effectively deploy it when they walk out the classroom doors? There's no connection to curriculum. As we know, curriculums and CEFR, they're very disconnected. They don't align up. And some ways, if curriculum was supported more directly through English language learning, and not replaced, but supported with a more intuitive system, would that lead to students being more flexible and more confident in how they use their skills? There's no academic language development. The language required for IELTS or TOEFL isn't worked on in classrooms because it's very niche and it's very tricky to weave through a normal curriculum, but that doesn't mean it's unimportant. Students need to be given holistic opportunities to develop their skills all round, not just in isolation, but a tool that's able to harmonize all these things and truly support teachers and learners in the everyday. And the final missing link is teacher-guided intervention. As we all know, remediation can be tricky. Conducting formative and summative assessments only tells us so much information, and those assessments can only be done so often. One doesn't ever want to fall into the trap of over-assessing, over-grading to the detriment of actual education and teaching. So the shift we need is not away from CEFR, because the European Framework of Reference is a very strong tool, and it's a very strong series of patterns that can develop English. What's needed is a more structured learning pathway that takes the statements and the ideas and turns them into real world tasks and activities that are beneficial to students and teachers alike. Connected curriculum and classroom use is also vital. We don't think we need to be taking over the classroom, but something that supports curriculum and supports classroom work without taking up further time, without increasing burdens and demands on teacher, is vital. A focus on academic language, but not just academic language, the language students are going to need every day. It's not just a classroom-centric, or it's not just a book-centric language. It's about teaching them the skills that they're going to need moving forward in everyday life, even skills they might need right now in everyday life. And teacher-guided support and insight. And I really think the key word here is insight. So offering teachers granular data that allows them maybe not to be so reactive, but maybe more proactive. Tools that can help teachers to truly understand problems before they're even problems, and tools that allow teachers to track and understand without additional time burden and without additional responsibilities of administration. So, the solution we are offering today, and what Britannica as a company has meditated on very carefully across all of our markets, what we've engaged with the market on to understand and respond to the missing links as they have been presented to us. And we call this Hello Britannica. And this is our ESL platform to support learners and to support educators where they need it without increasing the burden, without adding to strain and stress of everyday education. It's constructed upon three basic pillars, and these are very simple. Structured pathways. Hello Britannica is a linear tool that moves through the CEFR can-do statements with continuous assessment and continuous tracking that allows the building blocks of language to be constructed in the correct sequence and in support of everyday curriculum and everyday learning goals. It offers flexible and real-world English. Flexible is a word that's often not used enough in ESL learning. People focus on grammar and spelling and sentence structure. And while these things have their place, being taught like this often does not translate into the flexibility of language that people need to encounter in the real world. And finally, and most importantly, is teacher control. This is not another solution that is designed to replace teachers. It's not another solution that is designed to take away from the value of the human touch and the value of teacher knowledge. It's designed to give teachers more data, more information, and allow them to focus on being teachers and supporting their students through offering them real data, real control, and real support into the classroom. So here is the learning journey as it currently exists. Along the top, you can see the CEFR levels, A1 through B2. However, Britannica starts before that. At Britannica, we believe that the pre-A1 level, not even just for children, but maybe for adults who are looking to improve their own schools and step into a new world, this is a vital foundation block. And as you move through the A level and the B level, you can see a constructive journey that starts from first words to confident communication. Hello Britannica offers constant, measured, and constantly tracked progress that is manageable and achievable for students in an ecosystem that is flexible, easy to deploy, and does not add any additional burden to everyday education systems. So the teacher control impact is one of the most vital tenets of pedagogy and education that we consistently talk about in Britannica. We are not about AI tools that take away from educators, and we are absolutely against any suggestion of replacing educators. So the teacher in control means teachers are able to monitor progress in real time. And when we say real time, we mean real time. This is not a mark, cross mark, and hand back situation. A student completes an activity on a phone, and teachers can see it the very next second. Targeted and level appropriate work. Whilst the system can place students, teachers are always able to override and control what's going on in their classroom. Whether the teacher disagrees with the opinion of the system or if the teacher wishes to harmonize a class, the teacher always has that option. Teachers are given the option to intervene and support not only where needed, but perhaps before needed. The granular data provided to them shows them where problems are emerging before they are truly rooted in problems. And it differentiates for mixed ability classes. Because Hello Britannica presents to each student individually, it allows the teachers to meet differentiation needs at each student with minimal work and intervention. And so the classroom impact of this becomes stronger participation. We all know differentiation absolutely facilitates stronger participation, and stronger participation therefore allows greater confidence and development. It allows the improved use of English language across subjects. So whilst this is an ESL tool, its use and deployment across an institution will improve English outcomes across the academic spectrum. It can be deployed for more meaningful homework and practice. And what this means is teachers don't need to print out that extra sheet. They don't need to mark extra homework. Students can have access to this 24/7 on any device, and it facilitates robust and continuous practice, which, as we said earlier, repetition has its place, but it should be focused and it should be practice-based. And clear progression is always visible. As you will see shortly, the progression is friendly, the progression is obvious, it's unmistakable. And for students and teachers alike, that is vital to maintaining the overall education flow and track. So what we look for in our partners and in our deployments is the before. High activity and unclear progress is a key before metric that we look to work on. Isolated practice, individual activities, standalone worksheets, and limited teacher visibility. All items that can stand as roadblocks to proper language development and true, flexible, and confident learners. What we look to achieve after deployment is measurable progress and not teachers having to conduct multiple assessments every week. The measurable progress is all intuitive and all built in. Connected and purposeful learning, students and teachers know what they're working on, they know why they're working on it, and the journey and the progression is clear to all. And full teacher insight and control. It's not about taking away from teachers, like I always say. It's about handing back control and allowing teachers to be more effective, more engaged with their classes, and giving teachers time to be teachers, not to be administrators. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Chris, who is going to take you for an in-depth guided demonstration of the platform.
All right, apologies. I was trying to find the unmute button. All right, so thank you very much, Christopher. I will then provide the live demo of Hello Britannica. So I hope you're still able to see my screen. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is basically what you're seeing on the screen right now is basically what Hello Britannica looks like. And this is definitely from the perspective of the um, uh, the teachers. I will show you later how Hello Britannica looks like from the perspective of the students. But for now, let's take a look at Hello Britannica from the perspective of teachers first. And so first, from the left-hand side over here, so from the teacher side, you will be able to see three areas: my classes, my students, and my games. My classes over here is basically you're able to see this is your class management portion of Hello Britannica. You are able to create more classes, and it's very easy to create new classes. And then for each class, you are able to also enroll your students. Whether you want to enroll it manually or you can just use Excel spreadsheet to upload the student information to enroll students, or if you want to as well, you also have an options to have to create a class with a class code and then give the class code to students or potential students and then have them enrolling into your class using the class code. So you have those options basically to have your students enrolled. So, and this is basically the list of the classes that you have will show up over here in the middle. Class A, Class B, these two are as example, just to give you some visuals. Number of students for each class will be shown as well. So now I am in Class A, and so this is basically the how it looks like. So in a glance, you will be able to see the class roster, the average informations of that particular class, the average current level, average score, average progress, and so on. And then you will be able to see the roster of the students that you have in that particular classroom, the starting level, the current level. This is the snapshots basically of the students at that time within that particular class. If you would like to download the class report, you can do so as well by clicking this download class report, which will be able to inform you again the average informations of the class itself. However, also it will be able to tell you the informations on the skills, like where your students are at, basically in terms of the 6 skills of Britannica, their English. Where are they at, basically? For for this particular example, we can see that Class A students are struggling the most at spelling. And so therefore, as a teacher, you will be able to know, okay, maybe next time I see them, I'm gonna try to improve. I'm gonna add on more spelling activities basically to improve their spelling skills. Now, similar reports can also be done, can also be viewed from the student perspective. So if you click on this particular student's arrow button over here, then you will be able to see you can generate a report, a similar report to this one, but for individual student. You will also have a chance over here to modify the students. I think Christopher was mentioning that you as a teacher, you have control. So let's say, for example, the Hello Britannica place the students in the level 1 starter level. However, you as a teacher feels like, you know what, Suraj actually is very good. He should push himself further, and then therefore you as a teacher can still adjust the current level accordingly. Okay, so that's basically what you can do here in the My Classes. So again, pretty much the My Classes is basically your class management. If you go to My Students, now this is basically where the data sits. So you're able to see like how many students there are, that have been engaging with the material, the fail rate in total, total time span, etc. So student scores again, so this is basically showing um, your students skills, basically average student score by skill for all of the students that you have across different classes. So you will be able to see as well the student level progression. So let's say, for example, has there been any how many students that started in level 2 and then now move on to now working on sorry, how many students that started in level 1 but now currently working on level 2? So you are able to see that information from here as well. So in terms of the progress for current levels, so in level 1 there are currently 2 students, and so the average progress for the 2 students is basically 6%. So you will be able to see this different data over here as well. And you can export the data if you want to. You can do filtering as well if you want to. Now, next is the My Games. So what does My Games mean? So My Games is basically where you as a teacher can see uh, the content of Hello Britannica that your students will be seeing. At the top right corner over here is basically where the levels are located. So Hello Britannica has 5 levels. Christopher was mentioning there's pre-A1. So the starter over here is basically the pre-A1, and then beginner level over here equals to CFR A1, pre-intermediate equals to CFR A2, intermediate B1, upper intermediate B2. So that's basically the alignment of the Hello Britannica levels and also the CFR levels. We currently have 5 from pre-A1 to B2. Now, we are right now in a level starter, which is basically pre-A1. And let's take a look at the intermediate um, level over here, which is basically B1. So the way the content is structured in Hello Britannica is there's level and then there's units. There are units over here. And then within each unit, there are topics. As you can see here, along the path over here is basically that those are the topics. Within each topic, you can find activities. And then for each topic, there will always going to be the can-do statement available. So everyone understand, you as a teacher, students as well, they will understand. So if I complete this particular topic, what capability, what mastery do I have over here? So for this particular example, I will understand main points of radio news bulletins. And this is basically correlating to the CEFR can do statement. And we do have a mapping of the CFR can do statement and the levels as well. and the topics. And so if you're ever interested in to know, knowing in terms of the mapping, feel free to reach out to us. Okay. Okay, so now one thing that is very important to know as well is Hello Britannica is a program where the students will be able to learn English in a linear, self-paced manner. So what does that mean? So students, they will be able to go to Hello Britannica, and as soon as they take on the placement test, they will be assigned a specific level, and then they can start working on that specific level activities. They will need to start from level one, unit one, topic one, and also activity one as well. They need to start with that. And then only once they have already completed activity one, they will be able to move on to activity two, and so on. The same thing as well. If only if they have already completed topic one, they will be able to access topic two, and then so on to topic three, four, and five. Leisure time, so travel and transportations will not be accessible to students unless leisure time unit has been all completed, basically. So that is basically the flow of Hello Britannica. So it's linear and also self-paced. So you as a teachers, you don't need to assign students with specific activities in Hello Britannica. You are able to basically allow students to progress in their own pace and also in a linear way. What you can do as a teacher is basically making sure that, hey, you need to complete X amount of activities or X amount of topics by when, and then you can track the progress from there. And so however, you don't need to do an assignment of the specific activities basically in Hello Britannica. All right, so I'm gonna show you some of the um, activities over here so that you will be able to see examples of the activities. So let's say, so this one over here is practice new words, follow the instructions, and choose the correct option. So this is a vocabulary activity. As you can see here, you at the top right, you will be able to see the timer. So there's the timer is ticking. And there's a help button as well. So this is again, it's a vocabulary activity. Choose the option that goes with the word. It's Taiwan, so I'm gonna say island over here. So it's correct. Asia, it's a continent. Indonesia, it is over 17,000 islands. Now I'm just going to make some mistakes over here as well. Region, continent. Okay, so this is just basically one example of the vocabulary activity, and I'm just gonna stop over here. I want to show you other activities as well. So let's go and see further world explorations. Oh, sorry, this is actually the same type of activity. I'll do it later. Christopher, if you maybe have any ideas on which activities that we can effectively show for specific skills, feel free to let me know as well. So this one over here is again, so it's vocabulary practice as well. So we can click on, let's go over here. So this is matching activities. So there are different kinds. So in Hello Britannica, there are 13 activity types. You've seen 2 of them so far. And so the reason why there are 13 activity types is because you want to maximize, you want to make it efficient and effective delivery of the learning to students, and then different types of activities will definitely have a bigger impact than the others. Okay, so next is I'm gonna try to show you, okay, level 3 Okay, level 3. Level 3 unit. Okay, level 3 unit 1, topic 2, and then activity 7. All right. So this is read the questions and choose the correct options. Look for the grammar tip. Are you ready? Let's practice grammar. Okay, so from here, it is a different. So this is grammar. So Lily last week. So sent last week. So this is one activity type, and I can show you as well a different one. Level 1, level 3, unit 1, and then activity 17. All right. Read and answer the questions. Let's go. So this is reading activity. And students are asked to read a certain passage, and then they will need to answer a set of questions related to the passage itself. And then, so I'm gonna give you another. I'm gonna show you another activity, which will talk about topic. Oops, sorry. 6 and number 9. Practice your writing in a fun way. So there's also activity that talks about writing, and help your students in writing. So for writing questions like this, it will be auto graded, and because Hello Britannica also incorporates different kinds of technology, so they will whatever answers that the students are putting over here, Hello Britannica will be able to provide the correct. Will be able to auto grade it automatically, and then also be able to provide feedback right away according to the answer that the student has already given. So let me just try over here. Write about a popular place to visit in your country. Is it similar to or different from than Zuma Rock? So let's say, read the questions, write 4 sentences. So let's try to write 4 sentences over here. I'm gonna do some misspelling and wrong grammar as well. And let's see what the AI auto grading feedback will give us. Okay, so let's talk about, is it similar? It is different from other places that I have visited in Indonesia. Okay, I'm gonna start making mistakes in the grammar over here. We had mountains. Okay, that's 2 sentences, and then no tens, 3 sentences, and then let's try to write the last sentence over here. Have not been to Zuma Rock and want to visit. Maybe let's do misspelling. Okay, let's try to submit. Okay, so this is basically the answer feedback that the Hello Britannica gives. Your response mentioned places in Indonesia and Singapore, but it doesn't directly answer the question about a popular place in your country and how it compares to Sumarok. Try to focus more on the specific question next time. So as you can see here, it reads specifically to my writing, that my input, and then giving me feedback based on my input as well over here. So this is basically the AI capability that is available within Hello Britannica. All right, so I'm gonna show some of the I have already shown you some of the activities with the Hello Britannica. If you are interested, of course, we can give you some. If we can give you an access to do a trial. Please let us know. Now, next, what I would like to show you is also the um, student view. So the student view, let me log out from here. Okay, 1 second. Okay, let me log out and then log back in very soon.
Just while you're changing the login, I would like to remind everyone the opportunity, please, if you have any questions you want us to address, you can drop them in the Q&A box. Either Chris or I will get to them verbally or we'll respond to you in the Q&A box. But please send us questions. We're very happy to support and answer them in the course of this webinar.
Thank you, Christopher. So, all right. So, okay. So now I'm already inside the student view. So it looks similar to the teacher view. However, there are some key differences over here. So on the left-hand side over here, the name of the students show up, which also states the level of the students. Now, after doing all of those activities, students are collecting stars and also coins, which will allow them to be able to use to be exchanged with helps whenever whenever they want to complete a specific activity and they need help, they will be able to use those coins basically. And the left-hand side over here, there are two menus. The first one is homepage, where students immediately see their progress over here. So total activities completed in this level. So far, it's actually 5%. Suraj has already completed only 5% out of all of the total activities in this level. So that's 14 out of 287. He has collected 31 stars out of the available 861 stars. So these are like what I said earlier. So these are Suresh is in level starter, and the units, because the first unit, school and education, is not completed yet. Therefore, the subsequent units, they are grayed out and cannot be clicked, cannot be accessed. Suresh has already completed the topic one, which is greetings and leave takings, and therefore he has progressed to topic two. However, in topic two, he hasn't completed it yet. Therefore, he is not able to complete the rest of the topics. So this is basically within the topic. So there are some activities Suresh would need to complete the activities one by one in order. All right, so that's basically how the students will look. The students interface will look. Now, what I really like from the students view as well is also this part over here. Improve your last activities. Now, for each activity, students are actually encouraged to be able to get 3 stars. However, if students are not able to get 3 stars, for example, like this one, only getting 1 star, then over here, those activities that the students did not manage to get 3 stars will be listed out over here. And then Hello Britannica will ask, why don't you try to do it again? You did not really do well last time, so why don't you try to do it again? And of course, we all know that, the more you actually practice on improving the mistakes, you are actually getting better very, very soon as well. So And so let's say, for example, I also want to show you over here within the activity itself. So there's a timer, there's a coin, but also if I click on help over here, I have the options to, uh, do I want to use the coins to remove one answer or add time on clock? So the help options over here can be different based on the activity type itself. All right, so I guess that's it. The my demo of Hello Britannica. I'm going to turn it back to Christopher.
Yes, thank you very much for that highly detailed demo covering everything we are offering to ESL students and teachers to support them in their journey. So we're nearly finished. Very quickly, we're going to round this up. So from value to action is the way we see the pathway of this as a tool. So the investment value is in time saved. It saves teachers time in tracking, it saves teachers time in resource creation, but it also allows for real progress to be shown. It's visible progress, but it's not just visible on a screen, it's not visible in scores. Students will develop from this, their skills will improve. The 13 activity types and the nature of the feedback and how the system is built is supported to show progress and to prove the impact of effective ESL learning. And the implementation is designed to not be burdensome. It's a fast setup, it's teacher ready, and it scales easily. This is not something that is going to require hours of preparation, hours of integration, and massive amounts of training. It is measurable in clicks, how many steps this will take to be fully implemented in any given institution. And with that, we will move to a brief Q&A session. I don't want to keep people past their time.
Okay, well, I'm checking the chat box over here, and let me just see. Okay, so one question. So how can you please give an example, a quick example maybe on how Hello Britannica can be used in the classroom?
So, yes, great question. Hello Britannica is designed to be very flexibly deployed. It can be used in the classroom. As KG's demonstration showed, teachers do have access to all the activities, so they can use them on a smartboard in front of a classroom. They can use it to pre-teach, or they can use the activities to review topics within the class. It could also be used on students' own devices to take up time in a classroom or to fill activity gaps. So there's a variety of student-led or teacher-led methods to take this into the classroom.
All right, thank you. And then there's another question available in the chat box as well. Why are visible signs of engagement like nodding or smiles unreliable proxies for mastery?
So yes, your statement there is right, is nodding and smiling does not really indicate anything in the grand scheme of pedagogy and education. What we take as the visible signs of engagement are the tracking metrics. So you can see the numbers of minutes and hours spent by each student. You can see lit up very clearly in green what days they've engaged. You can see what they've completed. So yes, nodding and smiles are not the signs of engagement we mean. What we mean is the tracking data that teachers can hang on to, they can plan from, they can use to target remediation and target issues before they become issues. These are the visible signs for a teacher in our system.
All right, thank you. One more question. Can teacher assign any post-intervention activities if she sees that, for example, in her class, spelling is overall weak? What can she do? I think that's a great question.
So I think that's a fantastic question. Yes, the teacher is fully equipped in Hello Britannica to take this kind of action. whether it's the quick glance through simply the stars after each activity, or whether it's inside the granular data, the teacher is able to see what activities have gone well, what activities are maybe weak in the class overall. And so then the teacher can go back and reassign the activities, tell the students they have to revisit it. What's worth remembering is the system will already prompt students to go and fix weak activities itself, but the teacher can still see if they're weak and go back and take their own action. So the teacher is in control and can choose, is the action going to be inside or is it going to be outside of Hello Britannica based on their own expertise and knowledge of the class?
All right. I saw that there are still some more questions sent to us, and thank you for those questions. Unfortunately, due to limited time that we have today, we are unable to answer all of those questions. However, I know that some of you asked for how much does it cost to use Hello Britannica. So, for those of you who are interested to understand how much it will cost, of course, this will be different from one to another. So please, at the end of the sessions, there will be a survey. Please drop us a note on this, and I think in the survey you can also indicate that you are welcome to be reached out by someone from Britannica, and we will have that conversations with you, understand from you before we are able to provide any quotations. Once again, thank you for the questions. I think we have a last poll before we close the webinar, and I'm gonna launch the poll over here right now. You should be able to see it on your screen. Where do you want to see your students in the next 12 months? Is it more confident using English in real context? Is it showing clear, measurable progress? Is it applying English across subjects? Is it still engaged, but with stronger outcomes? We are keen to hear your input. All right. Okay, I'm gonna end poll and I'm gonna share the screen. Okay, so just for fun, I'm gonna share the results over here with you. Okay, so you can see it on your screen. Those are basically the answers that you have already provided, basically, based on your answers. All right, so it seems like 82% basically you want more confident your students to be more confident using English in real context. Any thought on that, Christopher?
Yeah, I think that's what all teachers in the world want is more confident students in the real world. And I would ask that if anybody is desperately searching out for a methodology to achieve that, you should reach out to Britannica and we can see what ways we have available to support you in that quest.
All right. Okay. So I guess we are at the end of the sessions today. Christopher, anything else that you would like to share before we end the session?
If you could just show us the next webinar slide, please.
Sure.
Yes, this one. So our next webinar event is actually an important one. It's not just an Asia one, it is a Britannica global event. And we'll not just be exploring one solution, we will be exploring the Britannica education ecosystem and its relationship with the IB program of study across Asia. So this will be co-hosted with our team from Europe and the Middle East. And we'll be exploring how, if you're in an IB school, Britannica Education can support all of your courses and all of your outcomes across the system. So if you're from an IB school, I would strongly and warmly invite you to join us on the 28th of May.
Fantastic. All right. And I guess with that, we conclude our webinar today. The engagement trap, why students stay active but do not improve, how to turn English learning into measurable progress. And big thank you to Christopher for sharing a lot of insights to all of us today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And I hope to see you in our next webinars. Thank you very much. Have a good
Very
afternoon.
much.
Bye-bye.